Hello, everybody. Welcome to TOI Sports, your daily fix for cricket, Indian cricket, and all that more. Champions Trophy final in progress. New Zealand have batting first, have posted 251 for 7 in their 50 overs. And to talk about this effort, I've got three important guests with me. First up from Delhi, we've got Avijit Ghosh. From Chennai, we've got Dwaipayan Datta. And finally, from Mumbai, we've got Nitin Naik. Gentlemen,
Hi.
welcome to this chat. Starting off with you, Avijit Da, 251 for 7. Glass half full or glass half empty?
Glass more than half full, because I think India would have taken 250. Uh, we bowled very tightly in the middle overs and got the match back after the flying start given by Rachin Ravindra. So I think despite the fact the scores show otherwise, this is not a par for the course score. The only thing that uh, is in favor of New Zealand is that it's a big match, and any score on the board is good. And when you chase, you are a little always a little edgy. So if India manages to hold on, get the early blues off, and we are most likely to get another attempt at an electrifying start by Rohit. If it comes off, then I think we'll be in safe waters. But otherwise, also I think 250 is slightly below par. New Zealand will have to bowl very, very well and field out of their skins, which they usually do, to put this past India.
Nitin, how do you look at this effort?
Yeah, I think the Michael Bracewell innings slightly, I think, has got New Zealand. I was saying 60-40 yesterday, but I would now revise my chances to 55-45. I think he's made a difference of about 20 runs there. I think 230 India would have been comfortable chasing. 252, although I think this wicket has the least amount of turn compared to all the pitches that, I mean, they put up a wonderful graphic that this wicket is turning at only 2 degrees, and of all the matches played in Dubai, this surface has offered the least amount of turn. So 251 should be chaseable because New Zealand do not have the spinners to choke India the way Indian spinners choke them.
Dwaipayan, what's your take?
I think New Zealand couldn't have got more than this after they lost those two or three wickets in that clump. So in that cluster, once they lost those 3 wickets, this was the maximum they could have got. In fact, I think they overachieved after they lost those 3 wickets of Williamson, Rachin, and Young in a small spell. So having said so, from a New Zealand perspective, I think they have got more than what they would have bargained around the 20th over, 25th over or so. Uh, 251, I think what I am slightly worried about is that yes, there is not much turn in the pitch, but the pitch is it is slow. It is stroke making sometimes is not very easy. So if there are a couple of wickets, if it's not a 75 for 1 or 2 start in the first 10 overs, then mind games come into play, a big final, all those things come into play. Sometimes the quality of the bowling also goes out of the window. It becomes all a game of the mind. So India needs to be around 70 in 10 overs to make this a one-sided contest. Otherwise, we can have a contest at hand. I don't know who's going to win. Probably India will win, but there could be a very tight contest.
Okay, looking at the effort, first up, the batting effort. So that's the card on our screen. Avijit, Rachin Ravindra and Will Young started off well. Rachin Ravindra was living dangerously and helped generously at times by the fielders as well. Some tough chances. At that time, do you think that India would have been worried about possibly staring at a 300 plus target? Because remember, 2017 final, India ended up conceding a lot after they let Fakhar Zaman off the hook, and he went and scored 100, and the Pakistan then ended up winning by a massive margin. Do you think at that time the Indian think tank would have been a bit worried?
Yes, I think so. We would have been worried, not only by because Dushin Ravindra, uh, we seem to be sort of pushing him, to get 100. Because if somebody has scored 200, he's middling the ball so well. If you drop two catches of the same guy, you know, that is almost like giving him sort of telling him that boss, this is okay. Please go ahead and get another 100. Uh, we before this match, India's catching percentage was 75, which means that we dropped every fourth catch. New Zealand catching efficiency is 97%. But in this innings, our catching percentage is 30%. We got six catches, we took two. We dropped four. Now, if you drop four catches and win a final, that means you must have been very, very good with your batting and your bowling. Because in one aspect, you have really let your team off the hook. I mean, this is one aspect, that we need to look into, for long-term thinking because, we have too many ordinary fielders, and Shami dropped, third cotton ball in two matches, and he just shows a remarkable degree of consistency in that. One catch he had dropped off with the left hand, one with the right. This time both hands, so he dropped catch left, right, and center. And to that extent, it's amazing, that we managed to get Ravindra for only 37. So we were below par in fact in our fielding. Even our outfielding wasn't really exceptional. So uh, we have, in a sense, we have got away with 250, which is good, considering that we dropped four catches and we were not great in the outfield.
Nitin, when they started off well and then picked up the openers, then there was a bit of a collapse. But Daryl Mitchell hung on there for a while. He scored a slow-paced 50 and he held the innings together. What did you make of that middle phase when Daryl Mitchell was there, but he lost partners? Glenn Phillips came in, scored 34. That particular phase, what did you make of that?
I don't think there was intent, Chandresh. He defended too many deliveries with the dead bat. I mean, he almost waited for the fast bowler to come back, and then he went for his big shots. I don't think that's why I said yesterday that probably Devon Conway would have been an ideal, an ideal fit in this lineup because one is he's a left-hander, which Varun does not like bowling to, and he should have played with a little bit more intent. The number of times he hit the fielders, he repeated the same error that he was making in the game last Sunday, which was play out a lot of dot balls. Akshar Patel, he just
51 dot balls.
yeah, he just did
51
not.
dot balls.
Yeah, he did not play. He did not even put pressure on the bowlers. I mean, and if you allow this Indian spin quartet to bowl without any pressure, then they'll be all over you. And I thought that if New Zealand, if in fact New Zealand go on to lose this game, I think rather than his innings being reckoned as them reaching 251, I think his innings will be responsible for the defeat.
Dwepan, then towards the end, we had this fantastic cameo by Michael Bracewell. Do you think that was also helped by a bit of a weak performance by Shami towards the end? The two fast bowlers, the two new ball bowlers, together bowled 12 overs for 104 runs on a day when the other spinners, the spinners were so effective. The two pace bowlers gave away 104 runs in 12 overs.
Yes, this is not a pacer speech, and they were waiting for the pacers to come back. And the wide Yorker, that is the like bread and butter of limited overs cricket these days. I did not see any of the two bowlers bowling that wide Yorker, which is the ball to go to in limited overs cricket these days. So Pacers were not up to the mark, definitely. And one thing I will say about this New Zealand innings is that none of the New Zealand players were reading either Kuldeep or Varun Chakravarti. This was surprising because they had when they had come to India, they played the finger spinners very well, but the wrist spinners were not in action in that series. It was only finger spinners. Here we saw that they are not reading the wrist spinner. So there was this sense of insecurity that had come into their batting, and they were almost desperate that they could not lose any more wickets once those 3 wickets fell. So if what Nitin is saying, had Daryl Mitchell gone for big shots, I think it would have he would have got out, and New Zealand wouldn't have got more than 180. The way where they were stuck at that point of time, the spinners had to be kind of played out for New Zealand to be in the game, whatever that means. Because otherwise, the way the innings was shaping up, there was a chance they could have faltered for
I
less
think we
than
just
200.
Abhijit, but looking at the spinners, the four spinners, Akshar Patel did not bowl out. But he was still very effective in the sense that he gave only 29 runs in his 8 overs. The four spinners again proving to be a tough ask for the batters over there, and the New Zealand batters just simply struggled, much like the other two teams, much like Pakistan, New Zealand in the group phase, and then Australia in the semi-final.
Yes. Today, the spin quadrant. I mean, they were really on the money. Varun and Kuldeep, they attacked, and Akshar and Jadeja, they defended. So they were totally on the spot, ball after ball, over after over. आप रिस्क लीजिए और रन बनाइए, हम बॉल को सही जगह पे डालते रहेंगे. And New Zealand did not take the bait because they had already lost 3 wickets, then 4 wickets, and they didn't want to just end up in a situation which, as Vaipan pointed out, to finish with 180. And Kuldeep, was bowled that exceptional delivery which got Rachin Ravindra. One can see, that he's bowling with more fizz. There was a graphic which showed, how his jump has gone up, and that is helping him get more bite of the pitch. So the ball is hurrying up more, and he has more control. So Kuldeep is there, and then I think these are the glory days for Varun, because people are not picking him up. He might have got a couple of wickets more. So spin ने तो बिल्कुल अपना काम कर दिया. It is just that the pace bowlers, there's nothing in the pitch for them, but probably they did not even bowl at their best. So giving 104 runs of 12 overs is basically 20 runs too much.
Nitin, do you also see it as 20 runs too much?
Yeah, I think India would have been comfortable with 230, 235. I think that Bracewell innings towards the end, very, very poor execution of the slower ball by both Hardik and Shami towards the end. Also, probably a mistake by Rohit not to bowl out Akshar in the middle overs itself, or maybe bring back Shami and Hardik for a couple of overs each in the middle overs, and then retain the spinners. I mean, again, this whole I do not know, this whole business of data and matchups. Just because they had two left arm batters, in the end in Santner and Bracewell, he chose not to bowl the left arm spinner, which I think Akshar is a good enough bowler to left-handers as well as right-handers. So, and he's a very good defensive bowler, Chandresh. So, and it was a bit of a surprise not to see him complete his spell. I think India would have, conceded lesser amount of runs had Shami and Pandya bowled a couple more overs in the middle overs, and then India had the option to rotate with their wristies and left-arm spinners towards the end, irrespective of whether it was a right-hand batter or a left-hand batter.
Didi, do you agree with what Nitin and Abhijit have said, that it's 20 runs too many for India?
It's difficult to say, Chandesh, at this point. Whether it's 20, like India, the way where when they had those 3 wickets in a cluster, they would have expected New Zealand. They would have expected them to get within 200, 200, 210. Uh, had one more wicket fallen at that point of time, had Daryl Mitchell got out, then they would have got them within 210. I think that Glenn Phillips' innings also was quite good in that 30 to 40 over phase, though he got out for 34, but he was kind of taking the initiative and got some important runs. So it is difficult for me to say whether it is 20 runs too many, because if India starts off very well, and then it can be a walk in the park. But having said that, yes, India should have got New Zealand for 210, 220. But New Zealand, I think given the fact that they had lost their three best spinners, players of spin, they did well enough to reach that score.
Interesting. Yeah, Avijita, you wanted to make a point.
नहीं, मैं ये कह रहा था कि the Pacers gave away 20 runs too many. I'm not saying that it's 20 runs too many for India.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think, yeah, I think that India at one point of time would have expected to finish them around 220, but they will still take 250, and they are still right now better off than New Zealand at the end of the first innings.
Okay, Nitin, just a bit of nostalgia. Today is March 9th, 2025. Tomorrow is March 10th. March 10th was the day 40 years ago, Sunil Gavaskar in his final day as captain, on his final day as captain, they ended up winning the World Championship of Cricket. Quite uncanny similarity. The best sides in the world participated in that tournament. India bowled out opposition in every match except the final. The same thing has happened this time around, except the final. Every match, India has bowled out the opposition. Do you see any similarities, and going forward, will we have 2 days of celebration?
Yeah, if at all that's an omen, Chandresh, then I would like to play. I like to see Rohit Sharma play the kind of innings that Krishnamacharya Shrikant played in that match, where he kept on
And
hitting.
there's one more commonality apart from Gavaskar and Shastri at the ground. There's also Ramiz Raja who survived a poke in his chest from the picket fence.
Yeah,
Go on.
yeah. And then the way Shrikant played, played against Azim Hafiz and and all these guys. So if at all it's an omen, then let's hope. And also another maybe similarity, if we're not stretching it too much, is wrist spinners coming and bowling very very well in the middle overs. There we had
Right.
LS, bowl very well and being almost on a hat trick at one point before that catch was dropped. But yeah, I mean similarities, yes, but that India would have been happy if the total was 177, like it was that time.
Yeah. Dwaipan, what's your take?
About the similarities with Benson and Hedges, yeah, more or
Yeah.
less what
World
yeah,
Championship of Cricket.
yeah, Nitin has, I think, said all the points. Like, yeah, and probably 175 in those days is 225 of today. So so in that sense, also probably New Zealand has got 20 runs more. But yes, there are many similarities. Just that Kapil was brilliant that day. He got 3 wickets also. We didn't have a great uh, show from the Pacers, but yes, these two wrist spinners brought back memories of Shiva Ramakrishnan of that day. Yes, that and another thing I will probably say, Chandrash, if India goes on to win this Champions Trophy, this spin quartet, like we have always spoken of the spin quartet, but that spin quartet did not play too many Test matches together. Here, this spin quartet is about to win us an ICC Champions Trophy. So when we talk of spin quartet later, we may have this in discussion also.
It's like a post written by a former India cricketer once on Facebook saying that I'm joining Rajasthan, and immediately there were 10 comments below the post saying Halla Bol. Then he said, actually I am joining Rajasthan Ranji Trophy team. Then everybody stopped commenting. So it's pretty similar to that. Avijit Da, what's your take? You're also one
वो
for nostalgia.
या वो 1985 वाला जो था, that remains India's perfect through the tournament performance. किसी भी टूर्नामेंट में इंडियन टीम ने इतना लगातार कंसिस्टेंटली हर मैच को इतने कन्विंसिंगली और इतने अच्छी तरह से नहीं जीता है. और 2-3 चीजें मुझे याद है उस मैच के साथ. खास बात ये थी कि उस समय पहली बार कलर टीवी हिंदुस्तान में काफी ज्यादा आया था. कलर टीवी 82 के बाद आना, एशियन गेम्स के बाद आना शुरू हुआ, लेकिन 84 के बाद वो छोटे शहरों में भी आने लगा. So that was one of the first games watched on color TV. And वो जो चूंकि ऑस्ट्रेलिया का कवरेज जो था उन दिनों सिर्फ वहां का ही जो था वो एक बेंचमार्क था फॉर एक्सेलेंस. तो हिंदुस्तान ने पहली बार उस टूर्नामेंट को कि क्या क्वालिटी हो सकता है क्रिकेट कवरेज का. आई थिंक दैट टूर्नामेंट सोल्ड मोर television sets than anyone else, more color television sets than any other tournament in India. And बाकी सब तो बातें हो ही गई हैं. वो रवि शास्त्री का टूर्नामेंट था एंड उन्होंने ये उसमें प्रूव कर दिया था कि बाकी सारे जो हैं वो ज़्यादा टैलेंटेड हो सकते हैं, पर अगर आपके अंदर ग्रिट है और तो आप ओडीआई क्रिकेट में अपनी जगह बना सकते हैं. और वो जो है शुरू से लेकर अंत तक धीरे धीरे खेल के किसी तरह मैच निकालना. इनफैक्ट आपको याद होगा उन्होंने सेमीफाइनल में मैच फंसा भी दिया था थोड़ा सा, लेकिन उसमें वेंगसरकर और कपिल ने बाद में आके हमें बड़े अच्छे से जिताया. और वो न्यूजीलैंड के खिलाफ ही मैच था. जहां तक मुझे याद आ रहा है न्यूजीलैंड के कैप्टन थे जेफ हॉवर, और उन्होंने बिल्कुल वो ऐसे करके वो अपने चश्मे को ऐसे करते थे और उन्होंने उनके फील्ड प्लेसमेंट्स इतने अच्छे थे. एंड रवि शास्त्री वाज अनेबल टू प्ले इवन हिज चपाती शॉट्स. सो एट वन पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम हमने लगभग 50 रन बनाए थे 20 ओवर के बाद, 20 या 22 ओवर के बाद. बट सडनली Vengsarkar and Kapil, they played exceptional knocks. We don't talk about those knocks. They are not those knocks that वो knocks उसका उतना ज़्यादा आजकल बातचीत नहीं होती. बट वो बहुत ही स्पेशल इनिंग्स था क्योंकि मैच बहुत जल्दी उन्होंने खत्म कर दिया था. If you look at the scoreboard, we finished the match very early.
Absolutely. So we've done a poll on TOI Sports Digital. I would request a producer to throw to the poll and see what the viewers are saying. The poll was about how many runs will New Zealand score? 200 to 250. 73% polled about 200 to 250. 20% 250 to 300. And the others really didn't really matter. So Nitin, our viewers also felt that the score could be between 200 to 250. So in that sense, would you say this is a par score?
Yeah, slightly under par. If had New Zealand gone a bit, a bit harder, then I think they could have reached 270. But I think they'll take 251 with their fielding. I think they'll add 20 runs to this total with their fielding, with especially their ground fielding. I think India's ground fielding also today was a bit lethargic. There were a couple of twos taken very easily to Shubman Gill. And at one point of time, I think Rohit called him from the deep and put him back inside the 30-yard circle because he did not like that tardiness. Just a bit, 20. India would have been delighted had they restricted them to 225, 230. But they also, considering the way Rachin Ravindra started, I think they would have also taken 251.
So if India were to win this match, do you think there would still be a fielding medal presentation?
I'm sure there will be. But who is the Virat Kohli stopped a lot of singles inside the ring. I think he'll be the one who gets that prize in this game.
Yeah. There was another poll that said that Champions Trophy after party going to involve any curry or kiwi fruit. Who will win the title this time? No surprise again. 84% voted for India and 16% voted for New Zealand. Are you surprised that all over the world so many people are voting for India?
No, I'm not surprised because the cricket world is India.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Abhijit, the next 3.5 hours of chase, will it decide the future of both Champions Trophy and One Day cricket? Remember, 2013 was supposed to be the final time Champions Trophy was supposed to be played. I was there as part of ICC, going to every venue saying goodbye One Day cricket, goodbye Champions Trophy. It came back 4 years later in 2017, only for India to lose in the final and for the Champions Trophy to be junked forever, only to be brought back again this time. So are these 3.5 hours very crucial for both One Day cricket and more importantly for Champions Trophy?
देखिए, इस चैंपियंस ट्रॉफी में थ्रिलर्स बहुत कम हुए हैं, पर चैंपियंस ट्रॉफी में ना अगर हम थ्रिलर उम्मीद करें, ये एक अपने आप में उम्मीद एक गलत चीज है. आई थिंक दैट ओडीआई क्रिकेट का अपना एक रिदम है. यू हैव टू एंजॉय दैट रिदम. यू नो, जो जो T20 है उसका एक सुर है. टेस्ट क्रिकेट के बहुत सारे सुर हैं, लेकिन ओडीआई क्रिकेट जो है उसमें थोड़ा बहुत T20 का फ्लैश भी है, और एक टेस्ट क्रिकेट का जो एक हल्का सा उतार चढ़ाव है उसका एक मिनिएचर वर्जन मिलता है. सो इसको भी एक तरह से एंजॉय करने की बात है. और आई थिंक दिस इट्स अ वेरी ब्यूटीफुल वर्जन ऑफ द गेम विच शुड बी persisted with. And anyway, it is being persisted with because we already have a 2027 World Cup. तो ये वर्जन तो रहेगा ही. And teams, since team will be preparing for that version, so all teams will be playing some matches, ODI matches. But you see, it is not the beauty of a game that decides its fate. It is its commercial viability. It is the men who decide, whether that version should continue or not. So it is more likely that देखिए T20 में अब जैसे IPL है, IPL शुरू हुआ था 8 वीक से. अब IPL जो है 10 वीक का हो गया. वो धीरे धीरे एक्सपैंड करता जा रहा है. तो आप धीरे धीरे विंडो तो खत्म कर रहे हैं ना बाकी सब चीजों के लिए. तो इन सब सारी चीजों को मिला के ओडीआई का फ्यूचर तो बहुत अच्छा नहीं है, पर आई थिंक इट इज अ फ्यूचर वर्थ प्रिजर्विंग.
Nitin, inaugural Champions Trophy, West Indies made 248, and South Africa in the end chased it down. In the second final in 2000, India made 265. New Zealand chased it down. No, yeah, New Zealand chased it down. Then again in the third one, West Indies chased it down. Do you see do you see a pattern there that India can probably gain some hope from before getting into the chase?
Yeah, as Vaipayan also said that the first power play, if Rohit survives 10 overs, then I think he'll make it easier for the batsmen that would follow. Also, I think New Zealand have been very poor in the death overs throughout. I mean, that's been their one bugbear throughout the tournament. I think they have conceded a lot of runs in the last 10 overs. So if at all there is a situation where India have maybe 6 wickets in hand with even 75 to get, with only the pace bowlers to bowl, then I think India have the game in control. But I think again Rohit Sharma needs to. I think the crucial wicket here will be Rohit Sharma in the first 10 overs. If he gets a quick 40 of 30 balls, then I think he'll make it a lot easier. As Rachin made for the lower order, I think Rachin was given that role today to attack, up front, and those 39 runs scored quickly gave Daryl Mitchell and Kane Williamson a bit of breathing space. India were very lucky to get Kane Williamson, or rather, Kuldeep was very skillful to get Kane Williamson out, and I think again, Rohit handled him very well. I think, as I said yesterday, he's one captain who has captained him beautifully. So I just hope that Rohit stays around for the first 10 overs.
Okay, India is about to start their reply. Final question to all three of you, starting with you, Dwaipan. Who are you backing now, getting into the chase?
Okay, let's stick my neck out and say New Zealand will win.
Interesting. So, Abhijit, who are you
Yeah.
backing now?
I'm backing India, and I expect Shubman Gill, who has not succeeded in the past 2 innings and has also dropped a catch in the innings, to be extra determined and play a very key role in India's batting.
Okay, so you're picking India.
Yes.
Okay. And finally, Nitin, who are you picking?
India winning by 4 wickets and 15 balls to spare.
Interesting, very interesting. So that's the way the cookie crumbles today. Thanks a lot, gentlemen, for joining us. We've spotted one anti-national. We'll deal with him later. And we've got 3 patriots on the show. Every day we seem to have one person who's an anti-national, so we'll deal with them separately. Thanks a lot for joining us today. We'll be back again tomorrow, hopefully analyzing what happened in the final, how India won, or how India lost. We'll find out very soon. Thanks a lot. And to the viewers watching us on any platform that you're watching us, please remember to like, share, and subscribe us. And do not forget to press the notification bell if you're watching us on YouTube. That's it for today. We'll be back again tomorrow. Till then, take very good care of yourselves. Goodbye.
Thank you.